Hello, fourth and fifth graders. Today I'm going to show you how to create your Adinkra West African symbols along with your weaving. So on day one, you're going to start by creating your loom. You will need to take your paper, fold it directly in half, line up your corners nicely so they're right matching. Push your fingers down and crease. Then you're going to need a ruler to write your name and to create your lines. Now, as you begin creating your lines, it's first helpful to know that if you just take the ruler to the top of your paper and draw a line horizontally, you have space for your name. So you can see I've written camp, and then you would write 4 or 5 along with your teacher's first letter of their name. So like, for example, if it was Mrs. Mast, you'd write 5F or 5M, excuse me. If it was Mrs. Sanders, it'd be 5S, or Miss Bowers, 4B, so on and so forth. Then, if you want to do less weaving, you would mark them at 1.25. So that's just a quarter between the 1 and the half mark. You would be marking. So here, and then the 2.5, and then three-fourths, and then at the 5. Okay, and then if you want to do more, like this one on the right here that you see, you would simply mark every inch. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That just makes it a little tighter for your stamping, which is the next part of this artwork. Then you create your vertical lines, and it might be helpful for you to also mark them down lower so that your line doesn't get off track. I'm noticing that mine kind of went a little bit too far. My ruler wasn't completely straight. Then when you go to line them up, it's easier to create that line going up and down. And you can always flip this paper over. That's what I do when I'm done creating my lines. All right, now you're going to take a scissors and you're going to simply cut these lines that you just created. So you kind of want to hold the paper as you go, because it tries to just kind of move itself over. And then your lines don't end up in the proper place. Then you pick out your 2 colors for weaving. These will either be 1 inch wide or 1.5 inches wide, depending on what you decide. And to weave, you go over, under, and you stick it in. Then on the next row, you could stick with the same color, or you could choose a different color, and you would weave the opposite, under, over, under, over, under. And I think I'm actually going to try to flip this one the other way because it's brighter on this side, and I like that look better, like that brighter red-orange color. Okay, so now I've got 2. And then I'm going to go back to my red. The red starts on top, so over, under, over, under, over. And if you're finding that your pieces are getting loose, you can always take a glue stick and glue under here to hold it down. Make sure you're pressing them all the way up so that they're not loose. Under, over, under, over, under. over, under, over, under, over. Under, over, under, over, under. And I just continue to keep pressing them up. And we'll have over, under, over, under, over. You can always ask a friend to help if you're having a hard time getting the paper to move in the direction you need it to, or to get your weaving, especially when you get to the end, if your other pieces feel like they're starting to move on you. And then I just continue squishing them upward until I get to think about what you're doing and concentrate. And I think that's the last one I can fit on here due to my sizing. So then you just make sure you double check to see if your name's on there and if you have completed all the parts that you need to. I could sneak this last one in. It's just a little bit narrower, so it's not going to look quite right, but that could be the last one I put in there. Otherwise, just leave it be. And that is the end of the Kente cloth day 1.